She smiled at me sweetly that evening, the kind of smile that makes you feel like maybe, just maybe, you mean something to someone. Her voice was warm, soft, gentle as she asked how my day had been. For a moment I believed it. For a moment I thought her kindness was real. But the truth was waiting for me in a place she never meant for me to look. Her diary. It was tucked under her pillow, the cover worn, the edges frayed. I found it by accident while changing the sheets. At first I hesitated. I told myself it was private, that opening it would be crossing a line. But something inside me whispered that if her smile felt too perfect, maybe it was hiding something sharp beneath it. I opened it. The pages were filled with neat handwriting, little doodles in the corners, secrets she had never spoken aloud. I skimmed the first few pages, mundane things, thoughts about school, lists of errands. Then my eyes caught a line in the middle of a page that made my heart stop. I hate him. 3 words. Black ink, carved into the paper like she had pressed the pen too hard. Please subscribe to our channel and tell me in comments from where are you watching this video. And below it, my name. Crossed out once, then twice, then again and again until the page tore slightly where she had scratched it out. I stared at it, frozen, my stomach twisting. Her smile, her sweet tone. It all blurred in my mind, colliding with this raw, ugly truth spilling from the pages. I flipped back and forth, searching for more. Every other page seemed normal, but that one line screamed at me louder than anything else. When she walked into the room moments later, I shut the book quickly, my hands shaking. She saw me holding it, and for a fraction of a second her smile faltered. Then she laughed softly. "Curiosity's a dangerous thing," she said. Her eyes glinted in a way I had never seen before. And that was the moment I realized her sweetness wasn't kindness. It was camouflage. Behind the smile was something darker. A secret she never wanted me to know. The words wouldn't leave my head. I hate him. My name scratched out until the page nearly tore. Every time I looked at her, every time she tilted her head and smiled like nothing was wrong, I saw those letters burned into my vision. Hate. Not dislike, not frustration, hate. That night I barely slept. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, hearing her laugh echo through the walls. Sweet, delicate, the same laugh she gave me at dinner when she passed me the bread. But now it felt poisoned, rehearsed, something she wore like a mask. By morning I couldn't look at her without flinching. She asked if I wanted tea, her voice soft and careful. I nodded, though my throat was too tight to swallow. When she placed the cup in front of me, I noticed her fingers lingered on the handle. I stared at her hand too long, wondering if behind that calm gesture was the same hand that had scrawled my name over and over in a diary filled with venom. I tried to tell myself maybe I misunderstood. Maybe it was someone else. Maybe the line wasn't about me. But the more I replayed it, the more I knew it was. There was no mistaking it. My name had been there, carved into the paper until it ripped. Over the next few days I watched her differently. I noticed things I had ignored before. How her smile never reached her eyes. How she always stood slightly too far away from me, as if my presence soured the air. How she was always warm when others were watching but distant when we were alone. At dinner with family she leaned over and said, "Pass the salt, please," her voice syrupy sweet. Everyone laughed at her little jokes, complimented her charm. She played the part perfectly. But under the table, her foot tapped rapidly, impatient, like she couldn't wait to leave. When the guests were gone, she dropped the smile, her face hardening like stone. She didn't even look at me. One night I couldn't resist. I waited until she left her room and I slipped the diary out again. This time I flipped further back. The more I read, the colder I became. There were notes about me everywhere. Tiny observations at first. "He's too quiet. He doesn't belong here." Then sharper ones. "Why does he even try? He ruins everything." Page after page, her handwriting became darker, heavier, like every letter carried her loathing. And then whole pages of my name. Written again and again. Crossed out. Rewritten. Crossed out again. It was obsessive. It was hatred so thick it bled into every line. I closed the diary, my hands shaking. Suddenly her sweetness made perfect sense. The smile wasn't kindness. It was camouflage. The soft tone wasn't care. It was control. She hated me truly deeply, and yet she smiled to keep me blind. When I saw her later that evening, she tilted her head, her lips curved upward. You look tired. Bad dreams. I swallowed hard, forcing myself not to look away. Did she know I had read more? Did she suspect? Her eyes lingered on me longer than usual, and in them I thought I caught a flicker, like she was daring me to confront her. But I stayed quiet. Not out of fear but because now I understood. Her diary wasn't just a book of secrets. It was a weapon. And the fact that she had hidden it under her pillow told me one thing. She wanted me to find it. She wanted me to see those words, to feel the sting, to drown in the knowledge of her hatred while she stood smiling in front of me. It wasn't just about how she felt. It was about control. And as I lay awake again that night, staring at the ceiling, my chest burning with anger and confusion, I realized something chilling. Her dark secret wasn't just that she hated me. It was that she wanted me to know it, and to suffer silently beneath her smile. Once I saw the diary for what it was, I couldn't unsee it. Every word she spoke became a riddle, every smile a weapon. She would lean close, her voice dripping with warmth, and I would hear the scratch of her pen echoing behind her words. I hate him. The next days became unbearable. I watched her perform kindness like a rehearsed play. When visitors came, she poured tea with both hands, giggled softly at compliments, touched my shoulder in front of others and said, "He's been working so hard, hasn't he?" Everyone nodded, charmed by her gentleness. They saw the angel she wanted them to see. But the moment the door closed behind our guests, her face changed. The softness drained away, her lips tightened, and silence pressed between us. She would pass by me without a glance, like I was nothing more than a shadow contaminating her floor. One evening I decided to test her. As she smiled at me across the dinner table, I said casually, "I found your diary." Her fork paused, clinking against the plate. "Just for a heartbeat." Then she laughed, shaking her head, her tone playful. "Oh? Curious little snoop. Did you enjoy my silly scribbles?" But her eyes were sharp, piercing, unblinking. I forced a smile back, pretending to play along. "I didn't read much," I lied. "Just a few words here and there." Her lips curved wider, but her gaze didn't soften. "Good," she whispered. "It's just nonsense. Don't waste your time." She went back to eating. I couldn't. My appetite had vanished, replaced with the taste of iron on my tongue. That night I stayed awake and listened. Past midnight I heard it, the faint sound of pages turning. Her pen scratching. I crept toward her door, the floorboards groaning under my bare feet, and pressed my ear against the wood. Her voice was soft, muttering as she wrote. Fragments of words floated through. Worthless mistake, hate. My skin crawled. She wasn't just writing her feelings. She was feeding them, nurturing them night after night like a secret ritual. The next morning when I entered the kitchen, she was already there. Smiling. Humming. Making pancakes, the sweet smell filling the air. She set a plate in front of me, golden and warm, her voice light. "Eat, you must be starving." I stared at the stack, my stomach twisting. Could I trust it? Was the butter just butter? Or something else? She tilted her head, studying me, her smile fixed. "What's wrong? Don't you trust me?" I picked up the fork, my hands shaking, and forced a bite down. The sweetness turned to ash in my mouth. She leaned closer, her eyes watching me chew, and whispered, almost too quiet to hear, "Good boy." The fork clattered from my hand. I pushed the plate away. She only laughed softly, sliding it back toward me with a gentle hand. "Don't waste food. It's rude." Her mask never slipped in public. But alone she began to test me too. A lingering smile when I caught her staring. A soft laugh when I tensed at her touch. A whisper of my name as she passed, her tone sweet but her eyes promising venom. And every night, I lay awake wondering what new line appeared in her diary. Did she write about my fear? My silence? Did she circle my name again and again until the paper tore? The more I thought about it, the more trapped I felt. The diary wasn't just pages. It was proof that she despised me so deeply she couldn't contain it. Proof that every sweet word was a calculated lie. But the cruelest part wasn't that she hated me. It was that she wanted me to know she did. She wanted me to smile back, eat her food, sit at her table, all while carrying the weight of her secret like chains. One night when I passed her room, I stopped at the door again. This time it wasn't pages I heard. It was laughter. Soft, low, almost manic. I pressed my ear closer. And then her voice. He still doesn't know what's coming. My blood froze. The mask was cracking. And whatever she had planned next was darker than words in a diary. I realized then that her secret wasn't just ink on paper. It was alive. And it was moving closer. The night I heard her whisper, "He still doesn't know what's coming," I knew I couldn't keep living in shadows. The diary was no longer a secret notebook. It was a weapon she sharpened nightly. And if I didn't face her, sooner or later that weapon would cut deeper than words. I waited until the house fell silent. My hand shook as I slipped into her room. The diary was there, exactly where it always was, under her pillow, as if she wanted me to find it again. I pulled it out, my heart thundering in my chest, and opened it to the latest entry. The handwriting was frantic, the ink pressed so hard the pages tore. My name was written over and over, scratched out violently, then rewritten in bigger, darker strokes. Below it, a line that made my stomach drop. "Tomorrow he'll finally see who I really am." I staggered back, the words blurring. Tomorrow. She was planning something. The floor creaked behind me. I spun, diary clutched to my chest. She was standing in the doorway, the hall light casting a glow around her. Her smile was soft, her head tilted just slightly. "Couldn't resist, could you?" she whispered. My voice cracked. "What does this mean? Why are you writing this about me?" She stepped closer, bare feet silent against the wood. "Because it's the truth." Her tone was calm, almost soothing. "You needed to see it. You needed to feel it. All this time you believed my smiles. You believed my voice. But deep down you always knew." My throat tightened. "Knew what?" "That you don't belong." Her words hit harder than a slap. She walked past me, plucking the diary from my hands as easily as if I'd offered it. She set it back on the bed, smoothing the cover lovingly. Then she turned, her smile widening but her eyes empty. "You cling to me," she said softly. "To my kindness. To my attention. But none of it was ever real. It was a mask I wore for everyone else. For you there was only one truth." She leaned close, her breath brushing my ear. "I hate you." The sound shattered something inside me. My knees weakened, my chest hollowed. But in that emptiness, fire sparked. For the first time I saw her clearly. Not the sweet smile, not the gentle laugh, but the darkness she carried like a crown. I straightened, my voice raw. "You spent years hiding it. You thought your secret gave you power. But it doesn't. It only proves you're afraid. Afraid of showing the world who you really are." Her smile faltered. Just for a second. I pressed on, my words shaking but sharp. "You wrote those words because you couldn't say them out loud. You crossed out my name because you couldn't erase me in real life. You've been screaming into those pages because you know deep down, you'll never control me the way you want to." Her eyes narrowed, the mask cracking. "You think this makes you strong?" she hissed. "No," I said, my voice steady now. "It makes me free." The silence between us was thick, almost suffocating. She stared at me, the diary still on the bed between us like a battlefield. For once her smile didn't return. She had no camouflage left. I walked past her, my heart pounding, and reached the doorway. My hand gripped the frame as I turned back one last time. "Your secret isn't mine to carry anymore. Let it rot in your diary. Let it consume you. But it won't touch me again." Her face twisted, a mix of rage and fear, but I didn't wait for her reply. I left the room, left her whispers, left the shadows she had built around me. That night, for the first time in years, I slept. Not peacefully, my dreams were still jagged, haunted by scribbled ink and forced smiles, but with a weight lifted from my chest. Her dark secret was no longer mine to hold. And as the morning light spilled across my room, I realized the truth. She could hate me, she could write my name 1,000 times, cross it out until the pages tore, but I was still here. And her secret had no power left.